There are a lot of different ways that you can mount your LiveScope transducer to your boat to be successful out on the water. But today, I'm gonna walk you guys through two possible options that you can use that I think are the two best out there. Stay tuned. It is another beautiful day to do some live scoping on Green Bay. One thing that I like to do with my LiveScope unit is pull up on pieces of structure, break down that area, especially if I know I'm in some high percentage areas that maybe could be sand or rock transitions, maybe weed lines, maybe offshore structure. I can use my LiveScope unit to pull up onto those pieces of structure, look around, and really find out if there's fish there or not. It really eliminates the guessing when you pull up onto a spot like this. You don't have to take a ton of casts to try and figure out if there's fish there. You can simply just look around real quick, cover a little spot. If there's no fish there, move on to the next. I'm seeing a fish. Let's see if we can catch them. We'll start out with a simple hair jig, and then I think a little bit later today we're gonna switch over to a search bait presentation with some night crawlers to see if we can't get some fish to go. Got him. In the net. Whew. Almost lost him. But we got him. First one of the morning. He popped off right as I put him in the net on a hair jig. Take a look at that. Was actually casting around a little search bait with a crawler on it for a while. They just weren't doing it. These fish are really finicky this morning. It's flat calm. And switched back to the hair jig. Got that one to go on a hair jig. Almost lost it putting it in the net. I was reaching for it and hooks came flying out. Happened to get him in the net before he was gone, but that's a good one to start with. We'll go ahead and get him put back into the water. There you go, buddy. Peace out. Really not a ton of fish around. That fish that I just got was actually in a group of two. I was able to get him out of there. It was very finesse, but we were able to get him. So we're gonna keep looking around for those pods and hopefully put a few more in the boat. So get into what you guys clicked on the video for. Let's talk about the first way that you can mount your LiveScope transducer to your boat. And as you guys can tell, if you've watched any of my content, I have a transducer up here on the trolling motor. Now I mount this directly to my trolling motor. I do have a Minn Ultrex that allows me to do this. I can run the cable right up the shaft of the motor and I don't have to worry about that trolling motor deploying through all of my cables because of the way that this trolling motor is built. So I have my LVS 34 mounted at the base of the trolling motor here, right above the actual head of the motor. I actually have it on a perspective mount. Now I don't always use perspective. I can switch this around to perspective if I would like, but a lot of times I am just running that transducer on forward facing mode. Because this trolling motor is cable driven, it's gonna have a very quick response time on the foot pedal, which is another reason why I enjoy having the transducer mounted to the Minn up here. I can move this around very quickly and it's gonna be very responsive on the motor's end. So while I'm up here searching for fish, I can be looking around with my foot on the foot pedal, and then I can also have a rod in my hand. So this is a completely hands-free option that you can do by having it mounted on your Minn. Honestly, if I'm out here fishing alone, this is how I'm gonna prefer to have my LiveScope mounted. I like having it on the trolling motor. That way I can have my head down, rod in hand, ready to be casted at all times. I'm not having to stay bent over to look for fish, then stand up, cast, to look down, maybe if it's wavy or if it's a little bit windy, all of a sudden those fish have moved. Now, instead of tending to that rod that you just casted, you're gonna have to bend over and try to find out where that school of fish went and then get back to tending your rod. I can eliminate that by having it mounted to my trolling motor. That way I can make direct casts on these fish. So if I make a cast right now at these fish right here, I can stay on those fish the entire time. If I gotta move the foot pedal a little bit as my jig is going down, I can do that with my foot. I can watch my jig fall. I can get that bait in front of the fish's face and I can catch them just like that. And that was a really good hit. We got a good walleye here. Where's my net? Here we go. And he's in the net. So just like that, completely hands-free setup. I didn't have to move anything with my hands. I was able to do it all with my foot. I was watching that fish as it came up and smoked my bait, and we got him put in the net. And that is a gorgeous walleye. And that right there is my favorite way to live scope walleyes, is using the transducer on my Minn Kota. And again, like I said, it's a very selfish program when you have it mounted to that Minn Kota, because there's really only one person that can be up here using that technology, just because you're kind of moving it around a lot. If you do have two people up here, it's very doable, but the person running the trolling motor definitely has to give some leeway to the other person when you're up here with two people. But this right here is my favorite way to do it when I'm in the boat alone. Even if I got somebody in the back, I actually have another live scope setup that I'll show you guys here, that you can use in the back of the boat too as well, while you were up front doing this right here. And that right there is another gorgeous Green Bay walleye. But we're gonna go ahead, get this guy back. Thank you for making a perfect example. We'll see you later. And yeah, there's a bunch more fish down there, so I'm gonna take some time, put my head down, and try to catch a few more of these fish. See if we can't go ahead and make this a fun day out on Green Bay. Got him. Couple hops and he hit it really lightly, but we got him, and it's a good one. Looking like a real good one. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, that's a freaking good one. And he's in the net. Whoo! That's a good one. That is a good one. Check that out. There's some rain on the way. The wind just picked up a little bit. I was kind of hoping it was gonna fire these fish up. And there we go. I've been throwing the kitchen sink at them this morning. We got all sorts of baits laying at the bottom of the boat, and we just got this good one to munch a hair jig up on some structure. And that right there is a gorgeous Green Bay walleye. That's what we come out here for. Popped it like twice right in front of him, and he hit it really lightly. I actually didn't even feel it, and I lifted up and he was there. But that's a gorgeous fish. She should be all fired up, ready to go. There she goes. Heck yeah. Whew. Right before the rain's coming in, I can actually see it off in the distance. Hopefully we don't get too wet. Want to try to stay out here to get enough fish for a video. Like I said, it's just a really finicky bite this morning, but if you can get those jigs right in front of their face and finesse it just perfectly, you're setting yourself up for success and getting the bites that we want. Got him. And we got him. And he's off in the net. It's another good one there. We're gonna go ahead and let this one go. Try to capitalize on this little bite window that we got going here. Got him. This feels good. Had to put the rain suit on because it started raining. This one smoked it. It's a big one. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's a good one. Dropped it right on his head. Oh my goodness, that's a good one. And he's in the net. Ooh, that's a good fish. Look at that. Oh man, we just got a giant. These fish have been super finicky all morning. Hopefully you guys can hear me all right. Whew, these fish have been super finicky all morning. We just got a good one. Just keep casting, keep casting, keep casting. And finally you can get them to eat. But my goodness, that is a good fish right there. We just had a front move in. You guys can tell I had to put the whitewater rain suit on here. And yeah, it's sprinkling a little bit, but these fish are still fired up. We had a bunch of wind right in the beginning of this front, and then it kind of calmed down a little bit, but let's bump that guy, see how long he is. Get him on the bump here. What are we looking at? About 27. 27 incher. We're gonna let her go. Wow, what a fish to catch during a rainstorm. There she goes. Oh, that is awesome. Doesn't get any better than that. Wipe this off for you guys here once. All right, how's it going, everybody? We're gonna keep fishing even though the rain's coming down. See if we can't snipe a few more. I think we're up to 4 fish now. Since I moved to this spot, it seemed like these fish just became a little bit more active, and I'm sure it was right as that front was moving in, but that was just a gorgeous fish. Can't wait to catch some more. Now that we have talked about mounting your transducer to your trolling motor, which is a very great option, the downside to having it on your trolling motor is, again, it's a very selfish technique. If you're fishing with more than one person in the boat, it's gonna be very hard to get both people using that one transducer. And also, if you end up getting out on the water on a very, very windy day, if you're casting at some structure, offshore structure, or just a point that those fish are really holding to, it's gonna be very difficult to stay on top of those fish while that wind is blowing if you are spot locked. That transducer is almost gonna become unusable to you just because that trolling motor is really gonna do what it needs to stay spot locked on that spot. But what you can do is get a nice portable setup like I have right here. What you're looking at is actually my ice fishing LiveScope bundle back here. But with LiveScope becoming so popular, there's a lot of different ways that you can actually mount these portable units to your boat. Now, if you notice, my Nitro actually has tracks. I have tracks on both sides of my boat that actually allows me to mount my ice fishing unit directly to my boat. I could move this to the other side if I wanted to. Again, it's portable. I really have no reason to. I like having it right here. I can scan underneath the boat if I need to, and it's a great central location to have a LiveScope unit, especially if you're going to be spot locked and looking at fish that are kind of holding in one area. Now, how I have this mounted is I actually have a Larmac 360 mount underneath this ArcLab shuttle that allows me to slide this unit right into my track. It's very sturdy. I actually leave this on while I'm running and while I'm driving. It uses the link system on each side to basically just clip this thing to the boat to be sure it's not going anywhere. I do have this Garmin set up on an ArcLab shuttle. It is all powered by a Norsk 50 amp hour lithium battery inside of there as well. Looking at the poles, there's a lot of different options that you can get out there. This is the Sniper Marine pole. This thing is really, really slick. I actually just started using this year. And what this allows me to do is actually rotate the transducer without having to spin the actual pole itself. There's a throttle style handle on this pole. I can rotate this transducer 360 degrees with just the rotation of my wrist. So I am moving this transducer right now. I'm looking behind you guys, and now I'm looking this way. So I can move it very quickly. It's very responsive. I actually bought an extension so that I could extend this handle into the boat just a little bit further. That way you're not having to bend over as much to rotate that transducer. I'm actually looking at some fish on the screen right now. But again, just a very, very neat setup that's gonna make it a little bit easier for you and a buddy to sharpshoot or cast at fish on those really windy days, or maybe even calm days when you're moving around. You can have one guy back here looking with this LiveScope unit, and you can have another one up front on that bow mount. It's all personal preference, so it's really gonna depend on your fishing style and how you want to target these fish out on the water. This time, we're gonna have to get off the water. There's thunder and lightning in this storm, this next one that's coming. We just got rained on here. I took all my rain stuff off and I thought we were gonna be in the clear, but all of a sudden it's getting pretty dark out there and I just heard some thunder. There's a couple other boats that are running out of here. So we're gonna pack things up here real quick and then we're gonna run back into the landing, hopefully get the boat on the trailer before it starts pouring again. But I just checked radar, it's coming, and we don't wanna be stuck in a thunderstorm out here. Not at all. Sheesh, we just made her. Yeah, it's getting nasty out there. Lots of lightning and lots of thunder. Definitely don't want to be stuck out on the water and that stuff. So we hauled it back into the landing. It looks like this stuff is going to stick around for a little while, so I'm probably just going to head it home. I was going to kind of wait it out and maybe go back out, but I just checked out the radar and it's not looking great. So we got a good number of fish today, and I kind of got what I wanted to get done in this video done. I really wanted to explain the two differences, or the two methods that I am using my LiveScope on the boat. There's two different ways that I'm using it: on the trolling motor, and then one on the back of the boat that is on a portable unit that works great as well. So if you're in the market for putting LiveScope on your boat, again, it's just going to be down to personal preference. Whichever fishing style that you think you're going to be most comfortable with is how you're going to want to mount it on your boat. I would highly suggest trying it on the trolling motor if you do get the opportunity to do that. Being hands-free is definitely awesome, and being able to make those precision casts while also moving the foot pedal up and down to stay consistent on the fish or your bait, it can definitely be key to getting a little bit more fish in the boat. But I'm not going to blabber on. I'm going to go ahead, get driving home. We got quite a bit of rain. I want to get the boat dried out. I got some trips coming up this weekend that I got it ready for. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this one. If you enjoyed it, please leave me some comments down below. Let me know how you're running LiveScope on your boat, if you have one, and what your personal preference is. I would love to see your guys' opinion on that. But as always, keep living your dream, keep catching fish, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.